150 years ago, longleaf pine forest like this dominated the coastal plain of the United States, from Texas to Virginia and down through central Florida. This strong heart of pine literally built the Southeast and beyond, seemingly endless timber that was relentlessly clear-cut.
Longleaf pine was virtually eliminated from the Southeast over the last 150 years. So there's less than 1/10 of 1% of old growth longleaf pine left on Earth.
Leaning tall pines with gnarly bonsai-shaped limbs frame sunny patches of wiry grass, a habitat that is home to many remarkable animals and an extraordinary variety of plant life.
In just a 3 by 3 foot square meter area, you can have upwards of 60 plant species.
So why would they want to set it on fire?
We're trying to generate the kind of fire effects that lightning-ignited wildfires would have normally have produced.
Fire is good for the system and is necessary. All these plants that you see out here, the hundreds of plant species associated with the longleaf pine forest, are invigorated by fire.
The longleaf pine forest and plants and animals living within it have adapted to regular fire and the clear open spaces it provides. The eastern indigo snake is one of them.
It's a strikingly beautiful animal, the largest snake in North America. Their scales are covered with a kind of an iridescent sheen that in the right light just is brilliant. They're top predators in this ecosystem. They're different than a lot of other snakes in that they're primarily snake-eating snakes. The indigo snake was listed in the late 70s under the Endangered Species Act as a threatened species, and it is probably extinct in about 1/3 of its range.
In southern Georgia, the Orion Society has set up an indigo snake preserve in prime longleaf habitat. They collect data not only on indigo snakes, but also on another closely linked reptile, the gopher tortoise, whose burrow is almost an ecosystem in itself.
Gopher tortoise needs a burrow to survive, so it digs a series of burrows, and those burrows stay relatively cool in the summer and relatively warm in the winter.
The gopher tortoise is what we see as a keystone species because it provides a habitat for other organisms that they can't really get elsewhere.
The indigo snake requires the gopher tortoise burrows in order to breed and overwinter.
In addition to making sure that indigo snakes have the right habitat and neighbors, the Orion Society has built an unprecedented indigo snake breeding facility in central Florida. There, with the help of Auburn University and other partners, they're raising snakes that will be released into the wild.
Our main goal is to develop a reproductive colony. This one will actually, that's a year old now, will be a breeder 3 years from now.
Doing reintroductions of snakes, there have been very few examples of snakes populations being restored. Oftentimes you can get them to breed, but there's a big problem with getting females to produce viable eggs.
This is a very unique setup.
Building these outdoor enclosures is cutting edge. This is some of the newest approaches to doing this. We really think that by providing them exposure to sunlight and UV especially will help them increase breeding success.
This project has already released indigo snakes into the Conecuh National Forest for the last 3 years.
So what we're doing here is reintroducing the eastern indigo snake back into Alabama. And it's been missing since 1954, and we're trying to release about 30 snakes per year. And over a period of time, we will be able to build up enough snakes here so that they're self-sustaining and we don't have to put any more out here. With the radio receiver, we can follow these snakes around to see what they're doing. Otherwise, we release snakes and we don't see them again. They're so elusive that they can just disappear into the forest and into the landscape. After our first year of releases, we began to see that the snakes were at least attempting or beginning to reproduce in the wild.
Groups like the Orion Society and the Nature Conservancy are dedicated to managing remaining patches of longleaf and protecting all the unique plants and wildlife that call it home.